Hi, guys. Hi, Thelma and Catherine and Mary and Annette and Betty and Mary R. and Susan. Hi, Susan. Hi, Catherine. Let's see, Irene. Good to see you, Irene. And I'm actually a tiny bit early, so we'll just hang out a minute here. Don't worry about the EADLOVE. You know what? My mom will be so touched that you guys sent her cards, and she is not even remotely judgmental. She will be so happy that you guys took the time to, hi, Roberta, that you guys took the time to acknowledge her. She will love that. So thank you guys. You guys are the best. Hi, Sue. Good to see everybody. If I missed anybody on my list, I'm sorry. So yes, Annette, as soon as I saw your message about the kids calling you on their Gizmo watches 100 times a day, hi, Betty, I thought, oh, they'd love you a lot. So did you get her card from me? I got a number of cards for Mom. To tell you the truth, I didn't register who had sent them. I just forwarded them on already. Hello, Adeline. I sent them on off to her. In fact, she should have them already, I think, because I included a card and sent them off the other day. So I think she probably has them about today, I think. So yes, those cards have been forwarded that were sent to me. And you guys want to see what we're going to make today? I'm so excited. This is like one of my favorite classes in the world to do. Of course, I love all messy classes. We know that. It's just something I thrive on. And then I clean up powder for weeks. But because I'm a mess, if I was tidier, it wouldn't be a problem. But I absolutely love making these. They are just so much fun. We're going to make, go ahead and go to my hands if you would. We are going to make the absolutely spectacular glitter and glaze cards today. We're making them out of napkins. I know it's hard to believe that that's a napkin, but that is a dinner napkin right there. And they are so much fun to make. You will never look at the napkin section of your department store the same again after engaging in this activity. You will constantly be on the lookout for napkins that have beautiful, beautiful patterns. Look at the glaze we get on there. Doesn't that actually end up making this vase look like a vase? Here's our hummingbird. I can't wait for you guys to watch these change from the subtle colors to these vibrant colors. It's amazing to watch. It's such great fun. Here's the watercolor card. Now, I did promise you that we'll put some selections of napkins up. I haven't gotten that done yet, but you will notice, I hope, that we put up a bunch of card kits yesterday. Brittany made them up. I listed them. I'm waiting for Margie to send me some information. As soon as I have that, I will be listing Margie's kit as well. So we have several new cards, new class kits up today. We'll go through those at the end again. But beautiful. This is actually one of my favorites. You know why? Just look at that purple. Isn't that just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful? And here's one in honor of Catherine in France. Catherine, here you go. This is our card in honor of you. So I had to tuck that one in since it was a Saturday class and I knew we'd have you with us. There we go. That's in honor of Catherine in France. All right. Is it 2? It's 2:03. Let's get this show on the road. Let's talk about what's going to be in your kit to begin with. You will have cards, envelopes, cards and envelopes for all of the creations that we will make today. There's 6 of them in total. They're all on 300 GSM, nice, heavy, beautiful cardstock. You'll get a little packet of ribbons and add-ons to match anything I've done on my sample cards. You will be getting some cardstock pieces that are covered in this heat-resistant tape. I love you too, Catherine. So this is probably the most expensive part of your kit, these heat-resistant tapes, but it's well worth it to have the heat-resistant stuff, so you don't have to constantly be tapping down the adhesive where it tries to bubble. You have a little bit of foam squares. We didn't use a whole lot. It was just to attach the tags, but you'll have a little bit of foam squares. Keep my foam squares sticky. I'm going to stick them in this ribbon bag for now because I'm going to have powder all over the place here in just a minute. I already know it. And you're going to have some napkins in your kit, something to match all of the cards. Now, yours are not going to look nice and airy like this because you're going to have to take the pieces apart. But you are going to get a couple of extra little pieces in yours because I gave you, in some cases, I cut the napkins apart because they would make like 6 cards. And of course, this is like a more commercial kit. Sometimes the napkins only have a little bit of pattern on them. Other times, you know, and you can't always tell from the package what you're going to get. So it's kind of like a surprise hunt when you get in there. Hi, Elsie. I didn't have a card to do for Norway. I didn't have a Norwegian napkin, but any one of these can be Elsie's napkin. She can just choose which one's her card. But sometimes you get these beautiful all over patterns. You just never know what you're going to get. And our starting point in this process is that we need to take that we need to take that 3-ply napkin and break it down to be get it down to the last ply. Now, I do have a trick for this for you. Let's see, where's my Nouveau Glue Pen? There it is. Margie discovered a great way to do this. Okay. So, we are going to open up this Nouveau Glue Pen. I'm going to get a little bit of the sticky on my fingers. So they're nice and tacky. Boy, that's really tacky. I got more than I wanted, I think. Okay, I'm going to stick my fingers on either side of that and peel off the extra sheet. How easy is that? It's a whole lot easier than trying to gently pull them apart. Although you still have to eventually get it started. So we're going to peel back and get that 3-ply napkin down to a single ply. Hi, Pam. Hi, Elsie. Did I say hi to Elsie? Yeah, I did say hi to Elsie. I said pick out your own favorite, and then that can be your napkin. Okay. All right, since Catherine had one. And I guess the same for you, Betty. Betty's international too, our friend right over the border in Canada. That hardly seems international because Canada almost feels like the US. You drive right through and we're right there. Okay, here we go. We're going to separate out these layers And it looks like 2 layers came off together. Well, that couldn't have been easier. Look, these 2 came off together. So, so that they're not always going to be as easy as what you just saw, guys. I'll tell you that. Sometimes you have to work at it a little bit, but oh, yay. All ready to do birdhouses. Could you can use Scotch tape to pull, but wouldn't you lose Thelma, wouldn't you lose part of your part of your image if you were pulling them apart that way? If you had extra on the side, I can see doing that, but I don't know.
That's what that is that you're pulling
That's
apart.
true. That's true. Okay. All right. Let's just pick one and get started here today. Now, on your hummingbird image, this is the one I used in our card sample, but you also, very carefully, okay, very carefully. The thing about the Nouveau Glue Pen, or even using a little bit of this on my fingertips and just spreading it on my fingertips where it's tacky, but it's not so tacky that it's going to tear up my napkin. That's the bit about the Nouveau and just my regular glue stick that makes me know that works out okay. Look at this. You have 2 beautiful patterns. And look how big you could make these cards if you wanted to. Gorgeous. I think, I've already done the other one, so I kind of think I have to do this one today. It just must be done. So once we have decided, now some of your cardstocks, guys, I had Margie stick all the extras in mine. Some of yours are shorter than others, so be sure to look at, be sure to pay attention to the size. This is going to be one on your kit that's not going to be full 8 inches long. So your tape for this one would be more like, 6 or 7 inches long. So look for a shorter piece, a piece of cardstock that the tape doesn't go so far on. I just have tape all the way up on mine because that is what was left over after Margie made the kits. Okay, I hope that makes some sense. Make sure you're using one of the shorter pieces for this particular card. I'm going to go ahead and peel and expose the adhesive. All I've done here, guys, and I already pre-did this for you because clearly I couldn't send everybody a $54 roll of tape. So I went ahead and put it on the cardstock for you and cut them down just a little bit. But what we're going to do, so you're going to start by taking your piece of cardstock, rolling your tape out on it. And hi, Glenn. What was that? Almost 50% off Hunky Dory. Oh, yeah. The Deco large box frames. Yes, I did do that, Mary R. I'll tell you why. I love the box frames. You really only need the box frame if you're putting all of your layers on a single card, which looks beautiful. And I think in one of these, I'm going to do that so everybody can see what they look like. But every time Hunky Dory issues a new Deco large kit, they keep sending us the boxes. And we have like 60 sets of boxes now. So I told Brittany, take half of those and put them out on Brit's Bargain and take half off. They're beautiful. They're great. They're wonderful to use if you want more layers on a card. It's a perfect way to keep your card in shape. But we have an overabundance of them. So I think what I'm going to do now, so that I can make sure that I get all the areas of my napkin I most want, I'm going to I'm going to turn my napkin over. Take my paper out from underneath so I don't get stuck to my paper I still want. And I'm going to smooth this as much as I can. And I'm going to put this sticky side down on my napkin. Now you can see why I gave you a shorter piece of adhesive, because I didn't need all of that for this card, because I want to make 2 out of this. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut off my extra. You guys might have a little extra, but you won't have like inches like I have here. Again, I take the leftover stuff from my kit, so. And I got a little carried away making these 4x8s evidently this time. I got into production mode and just kept going. That could be a bookmark. That's a very good idea, Bryce. Let's set that aside. Maybe we'll find a pretty little bit we want to stick on there. That's a great idea. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and cut this off. So like I said, we're taking our double-sided tape. We put it down to a piece of cardstock, and that becomes kind of our working paper. We peel off the extra piece and we lay our napkin on there. Hi, Mitzi. Well, I'm here for you, Catherine. We are going to have such fun today. Hi. Hi, Pam.
Kim R.
Kim R. Hello, Kim R. Okay. And I'm going to trim this down. There's no sense wasting my embossing powder and paste and stuff to make an extra huge piece. I'm going to trim that down to a size I want to use. Now look, we have created something that, people have said to me, can you do this on cardstock and things? Of course you can. You just skip all the other steps and start with cardstock. We're just transferring the image from the napkin onto the card. It's in Brits Bargains, Roberta. So you can already see that when we take the lighter color napkin and we put it on white, we're intensifying the image somewhat already by just putting it on a white background. But we're not anywhere near finished yet. Now let's take this beautiful cardstock piece we've just created with our napkin. I'm going to grab my Versamark pad here. Now, I will say that one of the secrets to success with this is to have a nice, juicy embossing pad. Having a juicy pad is really useful because we want, You can use any embossing pad. I happen to be using a Versamark today. I find the Versamark pads to be a little bit juicier than the ones by Hunky Dory, so I'm using a Versamark, but you can use any kind of an embossing pad. And if it doesn't stick as much as you like the first time, you can simply do it again. Oops. Yeah, it needs to be a clear pad. Okay, now you have little packets in your kit. I've got all mine dumped into this storage jar. So I'm starting by putting on my wow powder that has the glitter in it. I'm going to move it around over the top of my Versamark really well. I want to make sure every bit gets covered. I'm actually going to tap it off a little bit. You might as well tap it off and save your powder, guys, because once you hit this with your glue gun, anything extra is going to fly off anyway. So you might as well save yourself a little cleanup by tapping it off good. I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to grab my great big. I marked these plain and glittered and then promptly put the glitter on the one that said plain. because that's what I do. It's good to have, I have a big sheet of 12 by 12 lightweight paper here to capture my glitter and pour it back in my jar. Thank you, Kim R. My hairdresser told me she took a whole person's hair off of my head yesterday. Mary R. Today's the last call for card exchanges. Yes, that is true. And in fact, I got the one from Mary T, Mary Thomas. I got that and added that, but we are going to be cutting that off effective today. So if you have any changes or additions to the exchange list, today's the day to do it. Now, I happen to have this really nifty little tool here. I'm not going to use my clip, just going to hold it on here, but I do like having this plate available. This is part of my embossing station that is by Totally Tiffany. And I thought I plugged that in. Evidently what I had plugged in was my glue gun. I thought I plugged it in. That's my glue gun. How come that's not working? Is my cord unplugged? My cord is unplugged. A different cord's unplugged. Well, excuse me while I get my cords in order here. My cord was plugged in, but my extension cord was not. It helps if everything's plugged in. Excuse me?
Betsy asked if you got her change.
Did I get your change? I believe so, Mitzi. Send me a text message, Bryce, and I'll check it and make sure, okay? I'm sure I did, Mitzi, but I'm going to double check it just to be sure. Okay, here we go. This is the most fun part. Come in close on this, honey, because they're going to want to see this. This is just the most amazing thing. Well, let's see. There, let me get it in front of you. Now, when you're embossing this, keep that gun moving. What you don't want is to get scorch marks. So keep the gun moving. It won't take long once your gun gets hot. Be patient, but keep the gun moving. Okay, it's starting to turn. Watch those flowers in the corner there as they begin to intensify in color. See that? It's happening. The magic is happening. Keep the gun moving. You can always come back and go over spaces again. Look at that color intensify as we get that embossing powder on top of it. This is the glittered. This is Wow. What I'm using here is Wow, regular Wow glitter, together with some ultra super fine glitter by Stampendous. It's the kind of glitter that we sell in the store. So I mixed those up in little packets and included a packet so you didn't have to buy the full size Wow for each. So you got a packet of regular Wow and you got a packet of the glittered Wow. I want to make sure I've got all of my areas done. Okay. Now it cools off fairly quickly once you are done with the powder. Excuse me? What'd you say? Oh, hi, Inez. Welcome, friend. Okay, this is what we get after just one treatment. Look at that. Isn't that spectacular? Now the glitter is on here for good. You shouldn't get too much rub off because the glitter is adhered with that Wow powder, right? But let's go ahead and get a second coat on here. This time I'm going to switch papers. And I'm going to get a sheet for my plain embossing powder. I just don't want to corrupt my plain with the glittered in case I want to use the plain just as plain. So this is going to be my unglittered, my plain sheet here. I'm going to bring my cardstock back in, grab my Versamark again. Can you believe this is a napkin? It's just hard to believe, isn't it? I'm coming in with my Versamark. I'm going to hit this generously on all surfaces. Now this time I'm going to grab the wow that is not mixed with glitter. You'll have a packet of this in your kit as well. Make sure it gets everywhere. And then, like I said, you're going to be tempted to say, oh, I can put on less coats if I get it on really thick. But if you get it on really thick, guys, it's going to just blow all over the place when you put your heat gun on it. So tap it off good. Yes, this is the voice of experience. Okay, let's gather this powder up. Put it back in the jar. Now what we're going to get with the wow is a very subtle, it's still going to be shiny, but it's going to be subtle finish on this, or more subtle finish. So let's go ahead. This is going to intensify the colors even more as we put clear on. And this should go a little faster just because the gun's already hot. You can see it changing there. Keep that gun moving. One of the things that's fun about this, after you put the first layer on, of course, the glitter was being held in place by the wow. And as we reheat the project, that glitter is free to move again because the wow gets hot and the glitter's free to move again. So you'll begin to see as we work on subsequent layers here that the glitter actually can move in there as we're working. Does that make sense? It reheats the wow and the glitter can actually move again. And you'll begin to see some almost, I don't know, it's almost it really, what's the word I'm looking for? It really captures your attention and fascinates you to watch the glitter in here as we put on the extra layers. Now let's take a look at what's happening with our hummingbirds here. Since I chose a different piece, I'm going to have to decorate this a little bit differently than my original. That has never been a problem, as you know. I'm more than apt to change the pattern when we... Thelma says, I've learned to turn off the fan. Very smart idea, Thelma. Okay, let me see if look, see this? Now, this is the finish that you get with wow and a single coat. I could stop here. It's beautiful. See that? I could completely stop here if I want to. Hi, Mary Lynn. How you doing, friend? Oh, we're making cards out of napkins, Mary Lynn. Can you believe it? And see that finish? Isn't that pretty? I love that texture too. Now this, like Bryce said earlier, these will make beautiful bookmarks and things. So your trim off, the glitter's not going to come loose from there, especially now that we have an extra layer at the top. That is not going to come loose. So these would make just really beautiful bookmarks and stuff for your extra pieces. Any of your trim off? Okay, so there we go. That's one layer. Let's put a second layer on. We don't have to, but we can. You should have plenty of material. This is like using glitter. You know how when you are working with glitter, you know, you pour your whole vial out sometimes to cover your area with glitter, but when you put it back in the vial, it looks like it's all still there. It doesn't take an awful lot of the wow to create these beautiful effects.
Why are you putting a second layer if you don't have to?
Why am I putting this? Because I like a little extra finish to it. I want to show them the difference by having a second layer, but you don't have to. You can. The more layers you put on, the more glossy it's going to get, the more glass-like it will become. However, a word of caution, the more glass-like it becomes, the more easily you can crack it. You can actually crack the finish on these when you get a lot of layers on. And the other thing that will happen from the heat on the cardstock is, see how that's bowing just a little bit? That's not unusual. While it's at this stage, it's easy to bend back, but the more layers you get on it, the more likely it is to crack. Now, should it crack and you get a crack in your finish, do not throw your project away. Remember that this powder remelts, right? Every time we apply the heat to it, this powder is remelting. So if it cracks, what are we going to do? We are going to apply heat to it. And we're going to remelt the area that has cracked, and it's going to be beautiful again. So we're not going to worry if it cracks. Just know that it's an extra step we otherwise didn't have to do. Let's see what we get. Excuse me? Oh, no, don't cry the cracks. Just run your heat gun over it. And it will only crack when you have lots of layers, usually too. We can help control that by working any warps out from the heat. If I'm going to bend it, the best time to bend it is immediately after I've heated it. Why? Because that's when my wow and my finish on top is going to be the most flexible and least likely to crack. So if I want to work any warping out, the very best time to do it is immediately after I've heated it. Now, the more coats you put on here, the harder it becomes to see immediately if you got everything. So just work over it a little bit. And I don't think we have a big problem with warping because I did bend it back a little bit before I started, but that was the time right there to bend it back just a little. It looks like I have a pretty good finish everywhere. And this is my finish with 2 coats. See there? A little less. It's a little, let me see if I can get it right in the light. There we go. It's a little less kind of textured looking, and it begins to look a little more like glass. Can you see that? Now it kind of reminds me in a way of the texture that stained glass has. It's still got that glassy finish, but it's got a little texture underneath it. I think we'll stop here with this one because it's a really, really nice. We've got a beautiful finish to it. Either from the seams from the tape, or sometimes little folds in the napkin, you sometimes will get a tiny little line through there. See I don't even know if you can see it. There, I see a tiny little line through there. I'm not going to get all excited about that. I love the way this looks right now, and I think I'm going to keep this just like it is. So let's just take a face on look at our butterflies, or our hummingbirds again now. Isn't that rich and beautiful? Okay, so I'm going to move my paddle out of the way. I'm going to move my catcher sheet out of the way. Yes, I do. Even though I was very careful, I still have kind of a texture of of powder on my desk. That's just part of the process here, guys. I'm going to grab one of my 6x6 cards.
Very hard to just use a plastic box with a lid so you can cover it up when you've finished. And she also suggested using a box when you're doing your blowing so you don't blow your powder.
Good idea. Good idea. If you're, let's see, yeah, a plastic box, the one downside of a plastic box, there's two I can think of. One is that you can actually melt the plastic if you're not absolutely careful, so be a little bit careful with that.
Store your stuff in.
And secondly, what's I going to say? Plastic is likely to have a little bit more static electricity, so you might find that you have a lot of static buildup on the inside of your box. Use a dryer sheet and wipe that out good and kill some of that static electricity. That won't add any color. I would do that instead of my embossing magic pillow, because that's white. You don't want the white in this, so I'd wipe it out with a dryer sheet to cut the static a little bit. Yes, I did get my hair cut. I did. I was in preparation to go to my mom's house. I decided that I was tired of having to brush and brush and brush my hair. I had too many split ends in it, and it was getting too hard to take care of. Okay, my 4-inch piece, because your papers are going to be a little bit wider. Again, I'm using the leftover adhesive sheets. Mine's 4 inches wide, and of course my card is 4 1/8 inch wide. So I have a little border. I have a couple of choices I can make here. Of course, I could just cut my card down, and you guys know I do that regularly. Another thing that I could do if I wanted to would be to cover this with a piece of Miri in the back. I did not enclose Miri in your kits, but as long as I have some sitting right here, black would look good with that. Let me see if I have a piece of black. Bryce wants me to use black. I have black right here. Looky there. I'm going to put a little piece of black. This is an on-the-fly design decision, so you won't have this in your kit, but I'm just going to put a little black behind this. I do have kind of an outline in this, so I do agree that the black would be a nice choice for a background. Okay. So I'm just going to cover my card in my black cardstock to begin with. We may not do all 6 cards together today, guys. That's okay. It's really kind of repeat the process. We just have time here to visit. We built in time to visit, but it's going to be repeat the process. I do want to show you what would happen if we use UD instead of WOW. Now, what's included in your kit is WOW, but we also sell a product called UD, ultra thick embossing powder, or ultra thick embossing enamel, as it's sometimes called. And it creates neat effects too. Forgot for a second what I was doing there. Had to think about it. Okay. I'm going to lay my black down on here. Cover my card. The hard part is I'm going to have to trim a little bit off of my beautiful, beautiful napkin sheet, but maybe I will have enough to use as a bookmark. Maybe not, but it's okay. I do want to make sure I capture my two hummingbirds right in the middle. I'll get my trimmer out here. Okay, I know that my card is 4 1/4 by 5 and, or excuse me, 4 1/8 by 5. See, look what's happening here. See how that's kind of warping as it cools? Now, I don't have so many coats on here that I can't just round this back out. But if this had UD on it, it would crack more easily because it's a thicker, or if I had, 4 or 5 coats on here, it might crack. But we know what to do about that. We would reheat it. Okay, I'm going to cut this so that it's 3 7/8, allowing my black border to show a little bit. I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut a little bit off of each edge because I want this to be 5 5/8. It will still cut with 3 layers on there. It will cut still really nicely on my paper cutter. I'm actually going to trim this right at the edge. Sometimes you get a little, sometimes you get a little roughness right at the edge. I'm going to trim that little bit of roughness off too. That roughness is just where you have kind of the rough edge of the napkin or a little bit of embossing powder buildup. I just trim those off when it's a little rough there. Oh, that's pretty. You're right, honey. That's quite pretty. All right. Let's see what I did the first time. The first time I put a bow on it, I don't even know if I want a bow on it. Sometimes I think it's just nice to let the art speak for itself. What do you guys think? Do I want a bow or do I just want to leave it alone? I think it's going to be quite pretty. I'm holding it up without gluing it down yet, because if we're going to put a bow on it, I need to do it right now. What happened with Elsie?
Her grandkids got COVID, but they were good within a day.
Oh, okay. All right. Anybody got a thought on whether we want a bow or if we just want to leave it alone? I'm kind of inclined to leave it alone. Maybe put a colored tag on it, maybe not. Yeah, it's really beautiful, and I don't really want to cover it up. I agree. Let's just, no bow. Yep, everybody's kind of in consensus. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this off a little and remove any powder from the back that's going to keep my image from sticking down nicely. You may want, because this will try as it cools, sometimes they try to warp a little bit, a little extra tape is a good thing. So don't be afraid to really put the adhesive to the back of this, because that sense of wanting to warp as it cools down underneath is just kind of natural to this process. Okay. And I know about where my border is, so I'm trying this without tape flags. We'll see whether or not I can pull that off. There we go. I like that. There we go. How beautiful is that? Can you believe that was a napkin? Oh my gosh. Beautiful. Okay, I think we should do the Eiffel Tower next before Catherine has to go. So let's get our Eiffel Tower out here. Let's get another sheet of our cardstock out here. Try and get one that doesn't have a, yeah, this doesn't have any seams this time. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to peel my adhesive. I thought about these. If you guys want to make some glue dots using your best glue ever, or you want to make some pearls that you can put down using your Nouveau and make some pearls that you can peel off and use later, use these peel off sheets from your double-sided adhesive or your labels. Okay, now the tricky part can be getting it on there straight. I could put it face down and try and put my cardstock to that, or I can try and put it on. I don't know that one technique is better than the other, guys. This is the trickier part because this is just tissue paper now. It's very, very light. Very, very light. And once you touch that adhesive, it wants to stick. So I'm going to try fitting it from one corner and then try not to get any bends in it. Okay, look there. There we go. There's the Eiffel Tower in honor of Catherine. All right. We're going to pick this up now. We're going to trim it up because, again, like I said before, no sense wasting our powder on the pieces we're not going to use. So I'm going to trim off just this little bit of excess here. And I'm going to grab my Versamark pad. Oh, this is my plane. I want to go back to my other sheet that already has glitter on it. So I'm going to switch out and I'm going to go to this sheet where I've already gotten glitter on it. Okay. Yeah, I saw these napkins with the Eiffel Tower and I thought, oh, I have to have those. We have to do something in honor of Catherine. And Elsie and Betty, I would do the same thing for you if I saw something that was iconic of your country, but I haven't seen anything. So if I see something, you can bet I'll. Okay. All right, let's go back to our glittery powder. Now, do you have to use the glitter in this? No, you can go straight to the wow if you want to. If you want something that's less glittery, I will tell you, the guys like the glitter just as much as the ladies do. They really do. But if you feel like you want it to be more masculine, or for some reason, maybe you're just not a glitter person, you know? You can go straight to the wow. You don't have to use the glitter. Tap it off good. It's not going to do you any good when that powder blows all over. So tap it off good. It seems like every time I start this project, I have to relearn that lesson. Okay, set my glitter sheet aside. Recap my powder. Yes, I've seen that. My daughter was in France, when, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, yes. And she sent us some pictures of the Eiffel Tower sparkling at night with all those lights. And that's why I thought this really did need the glitter. It really does. And here is here is the magic. Let's watch this magic happen. Here we go. It's starting to turn. I love the way the postmark and stuff on here. You know, you hardly notice the postmark in the corner of this until you get the wow and the glitter on it. But once you do that, you it brings out all the details, and you really notice things in the pattern you didn't notice so much before. It also really brightens the blue in this pattern. If anybody doesn't have one of these heat guns, we have some affordable ones in the store. Your heat gun shouldn't cost you more than $25 to $30. It's a good tool for your crafting. You'll use it more than you think you will. If you don't have a heat gun, it's not an expensive addition. It can be used so many times to dry stuff and, kind of speed up the processes. It can certainly be used for things like this for everyday embossing. You can see the corner of that trying to lift a little bit. It's just normal to the process, guys. Don't freak out about that. We'll just bend it back the other way. It's not going to crack with a single layer on it. We'll just bend it back the way we want it to be. We're going to keep that gun moving because we don't want to scorch anything, but we are going to hit every bit of the pattern. We don't want any dry powder left on the card. This particular gun that I'm using happens to be by Wow. Oh, no, it's not. It's Zap. This is a Zap gun. So I take it back to Zap brand. I did have one in the store by Wow. I don't know if we do now. I do know we have a really nice gun by Crafter's Companion in the store. Those used to be really, really affordable. And then the last time we bought them, they raised their price from $19.99 to I think like $27.95. I was not happy with them for that. Okay, here's our glittered version. Look how much difference that makes to have all those little glimmers on there. And look how it intensified the colors. We took a pretty dark image and it really lightened it up by putting the sparkles on it. Now I think we need to get a clear coat on the top. The clear coat, by doing that, will add an additional layer of shine, and it will just ensure that all that glitter is nicely embedded. So we're taking our, in this case, Versamark. Again, any good embossing pad will get this job done. I've read some reviews online for Wow and for Uti, where people complained that especially Uti, that Uti didn't stick to their project. Uti will stick to your project. So what that tells me is they didn't have those people that were complaining didn't have enough
You need to change
of
your paper,
what?
your backing paper.
Yes. This is my plane.
You just dumped glitter on it.
Did I? Did I have glitter on this one?
I think so. I didn't see you change it.
I don't see any glitter on it. Okay. If I do, it probably won't be the first time I corrupted it. But what that told me when I read those reviews is that the people who were writing the reviews and who were having problems having the UD stick or the Wow stick didn't have a juicy enough embossing pad or didn't hit it with enough embossing. Roberta has a great idea. If you want to keep these from bowing until you're ready to use them, put them under a book. That's a great idea, Roberta. Put a nice heavy book on top. That's a superb idea. By putting the book on it, you wouldn't have to risk cracking it by bending it backwards. Let's get our gun here. Let's seal this. What I don't need is to blow this all over the place. And stick my gun in my holder. If anything, I think when we put the clear coat over the top, it brings the glitter out almost more when we do that, the glitter effects, which is interesting. Because the clear coat kind of intensifies all the details. Keep your gun moving, don't risk scorching it. You can always come back over the top of another area again, won't hurt anything. Make sure I got all the powder. I can kind of tip my image a little bit and see if I have any areas that don't look glossy. If I have any areas that don't look glossy, it just means I didn't melt the powder good in that area. Beautiful. Okay, this one is pretty much a 4x8. I am still going to need to do a little trimming because I'm not sure I want to use the red and white stripe across the top. Look how that brought the glitter out and lightened it even more by putting more light, more gloss to it. Now you can see the glossy finish. Again, now you can see this is just part of the process, guys. Don't get shook about this when this happens. It's just part of the process. You can see just a little bit here. You will have some minor imperfections in your finish. And I just want you to know that. Here, it looks like even though I'm using heat-resistant adhesive, maybe it bubbled just a tiny, tiny amount. If that really bothers me, when it's warm, not hot, When it's warm, I can actually push that down, but it's not a big deal. It's just part of the process. And here, I don't know if you can see it. There it is. You can see it there. See that little ripple? That is where when I put my napkin down, I got just a tiny bit of ripple there. Those little inclusions are just part of the process. No, trimming this card will not hurt your finish, not at all. Um, if you're going to trim it though, trim it when you have like 2 coats, 3 coats on it. Don't put, 5 coats and then try and run it through your trimmer because I'm not sure that's particularly good for your trimmer. This is not going to hurt anything. It's not going to hurt my finish and it's not going to hurt my trimmer. Let's get a 4x8 card out here. DL. Which is now powdery. I told you it's a messy job, but it's a job I love. Now, this comes out, just because of the size of my original napkin, this comes out a little shorter than a DL, and I'm going to trim this red and white stripe off the top, I think, because I think that's a little distracting. It's going to be a little bit shorter, so I have some choices. I think I'm going to trim my width down a little bit, and I'm going to give this a pretty white border all the way around this. I may still decide to trim my card just a tad to get a nice even finish, a nice even border around. So my side borders and my top borders are pretty even. I could put Mary behind it. I could put black card behind it, and then put white and black. That actually could be really neat.
Do a 5x7 and then trim your 5x7 down.
Well, if I did a 5x7, I'm not going to have enough length in my card to have the entire Eiffel Tower. I'd have to be cutting off the legs, and that just seems wrong somehow. Okay, so let's grab our trimmer here. I'm going to trim off the parts I know I want trimmed off first, and then we'll decide on the final size. I have a little bit of white at the bottom. I'm going to trim that off. I have that red and white strip. I have a little bit of white from my cardstock showing at the side. Can you go back just a little now, please? A little white from the cardstock showing at the sides. I don't want to trim any more off of this side because just the way this image is positioned here, I begin to lose part of my Eiffel Tower. So whatever I trim in width, I'm going to trim off of this other side where it says Paris. I may lose the P on Paris, but everybody knows where this is. And I think because I would normally trim it to 3 7/8, I'm going to trim it to 3 5/8 because I already know that my card is going to be that I'm going to have some of my I'm going to need to probably trim a little on the height. Okay. Extra blades are good to have for your paper trimmer unless you have a caterpillar, in which case I can make my trimmer nice and sharp right away by just running my blade back and forth a few times on my base. Now see, I got quite a bit extra at the top, and I'm just going to trim that extra bit off. Now we need a Statue of Liberty for the US, which would also be a tribute to France, I must say, since the Statue of Liberty was a gift from France. So I'm going to trim a bit off the top, then we'll see if I need to trim any more. I'm going to take about 3/8, maybe right off the top, and we'll take a look at where we are. It's not unusual for me to guesstimate. You guys know that. I'm going to take a little bit more off. And then I think we have a really beautiful batter. I like the white border around this. I think the white is beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, let's take another 1/8 off of this. Okay. I actually have a little place here that feels just a tad sticky. It kind of feels like the powder didn't get melted quite enough right there. So I'm going to stop and heat that because I want my finish to be impeccable. There we go. And I got my finger into it too soon. I may actually need to put another coat on it. I'm going to put another coat on this because I got my finger in it for one thing. I touched it too soon. Because sometimes I'm impatient. But you know what? This process is, it's really hard to mess up because I can just go back in. I can add some embossing fluid off of my pad, or in this case, Versamark. I can grab my plain wow. Yeah, I only do this stuff in it so I can show you how to fix it. And if you guys believe me, I got this bridge for sale. Uh-oh. Tap off the extra. Okay. Pour this all back in our vial. Move my plain paper out of the way, grab my little paddle. Oh, that's an interesting perspective, Thelma. Thelma is our art teacher, and she says if you can't balance the top and bottom, make the bottom the whitest. Why is that, Thelma? Just visually it looks more grounded, or why is that? How's my time, honey? It's 3? Wow, we're doing great. It's so fun to see. I don't know if you guys can see it there. It's so fun to see the sparkle, to see the glitter sparkle as you add these extra coats. You can almost see it move, huh? You can almost see the glitter move in there as you go over these extra coats. Get up here to my problem area. Looking to make sure everything sparkles, everything shines. That's looking good now. Really, really good. I'm not going to stick my finger in it while it's so warm this time. Ranger has an embossing folder that can be used. Okay, here we go. And that problem area up in the right-hand corner, it's no longer a problem at all. Let me see if I can get it on camera to show you that that is just as glossy and beautiful as every other area. Let me see if I can show you the shine there. Every area of this has equal beautiful shine, even though I had a mistake in it. There we go. Can I get it? Can I capture it again? So every part has a beautiful shine. There we go. Let's put this on our background. I love that. That's gorgeous. Now I'm bending it back just a little bit because I got a tiny, tiny bit of warp. It's okay. Okay. It's now cool enough to lay on its face, so it's okay. I'm going to put a little extra tape on this for the reason I already told you, because it will continue to cool, you know, underneath there, and it still might try to bow just a little bit. If once your card is finished, it bows a little bit, just push it back into the adhesive first. You would never guess any of these were napkins, would you? So gorgeous. A dinner napkin. That's what it is. I told you the other day, I'll tell you again now, I have a pretty spectacular collection of napkins here in the store. For really nice dinner napkins, you can generally expect to pay $7, $8 at the low side, up to $20 at the top of the market. If you buy them on Amazon right now, I did look the other night, and if you buy them on Amazon right now, you're going to spend a minimum of, I got that a little crooked. Let me see if it will still let me release it. I'm only feeling like I can release maybe I can't release this. Never mind. I'm only, what was I going to say? On Amazon, it was going to be $7 at the absolute lowest, and they had them clear up into the. There must be. I didn't know there was such a thing, but maybe there's even a. Maybe there's a collector's market. I don't know, because I had some packages that were $100. Who in the right mind would pay that? I don't know. Anyway, I have a really pretty spectacular collection of napkins here in the store. And I decided that since they're really pretty hard to find at affordable prices now, I'm going to go through and I'm going to put together some packages of napkins out of my personal stash. And I'll just include one of a kind for a number of different napkin styles. And we'll do like $10 a pack. And I'll put in a bunch of different designs into each pack, so that you guys can get a variety. I'll have both holiday and non-holiday themes. I really wanted a white one. On my last card, I put a tag on this one. The tag I had, not everybody's going to get different words, but on my sample tag for the last card I made, it says "made with love and sparkles." I kid you not, it really says that. I'm going to send you this card. Catherine. Made with love and sparkles. I'm not going to put a tag on this one because none of the tags in my kit are exactly what I want for this. So I'm going to I'm going to send you Made with Love and Sparkles, Catherine. So that's 2 cards done. How's that? Let's see what we want to do next. Anybody got a vote for what we do next? I have what we have left in our kit. I do love this one. I gotta say. And I have this one. We already did that one. I have this one, watercolors. I have this kind of coral color rose. It's already on some cardstock. Yeah. You guys have a vote? Which one do you want next? Hi, Kathy Girly Girl. How you doing? Anybody want to vote? If you don't vote, I'm picking. The roses, this rose? You got it. You said first that maybe we'll try the daffodils. But let's do the roses next because you picked first. Okay, I had a piece of cardstock sitting here, and when I was starting out, I just did this whole thing. I think the card in our sample pack that uses that napkin is an A6. With your permission, I might just make something bigger. This one is the one that goes with your kit, though. But I think I'm just going to make something bigger because I already have this stuck to a bigger piece of cardstock. Is that okay with you guys? If we just go ahead and do something wild like an 8x8 or a 7x7, let's do it because why not? We got stuff. It will not be the same size as your kit, but I already have it stuck down to cardstock. So let me get my glittered paper here. And let's just clean up a little of my mess. I have fluff everywhere. Okay. So let's get where's my pad? It's buried under my mess of napkins and things. There it is. Oh, good thought. Now, I haven't even seen the foiled napkins, Roberta. Good thing to point out, love. Thank you. Good advice. If they don't work well for this, it's sure good to know it before you spend a bunch of money on napkins, huh? Now, the ones that the ink is for, that are actually inked in foil type colors, they work okay, but I haven't tried one that was actually heat set foil, and that makes perfect sense that would not work well because the foil is heat activated, and as you worked, your foil would come loose. That is a great idea. That's a good idea. I probably even had something with a maple leaf, and I didn't even think of that for Betty McSorley. What a great idea, Mary. That would have been a perfect Canada, wouldn't it? Maple leaves are pretty easy to find in holiday, Thanksgiving napkins. I'll have to watch for that. I have not found anything that looked like Northern Lights. Maybe one of the snowman kind of things might be good to represent Norway. Okay. A big old piece of paper to glitter. I may even do it twice just to make sure I hit everything. When you're adding your cardstock, it's not a bad idea to leave a little strip to the side of your napkin so you have a working space. None of these, I think. I think some of yours in your kit actually have that. I don't think. I know none of mine here. See, I got the powder all over. Maybe wipe.
They're right behind your stand.
Behind my stand. Thank you. I clean up the tub before I have it all over me, which I'm bound to any minute. I will have that all over me if I don't clean that up. Okay. All right. Baby wipes, the crafter's best friend. Okay, I need my platform, my little thingy. I don't have to have this thingy, but man, it is nice. Watch these colors change on this one. This is a fun one. Look how deep these colors start getting. Really intensifies that coral into, or that pink coral kind of look into just a vivid red. Isn't this fun? Hi, Stephanie. Good to see you, friend. We're using napkins and making cards today. It's a messy, gloriously fun project. If you have not done it, you are missing out because it is so much fun. We sell WOW in the store. When you're hooked on this technique and you want to do more, it's a good, affordable way to add to your stash. We sell jars of WOW. They come in jars like this, so you get a lot of powder. And we sell UD. We're going to do this one, I think, with some UD so you can see what that looks like. If we're out of either WOW or UD, I do have orders in for them. So if I don't have it today, we should have it soon. You can see that the bigger my piece of paper is, the more propensity it has to ripple a little bit. That's okay. Yes, I can try. And the bigger your paper is, the tougher it is to see that you got everything done. Okay. I forgot to cover that this time, didn't I? That was silly. Okay. I'm looking this over to see if if everything looks equally glossy. I see a strip right down through here that does not look glossy. I may have missed it with my pad.
Kim has questions.
Debbie, does the heat affect the tape underneath? Is using liquid glue not a good idea for this technique? I don't think you want liquid glue because you're going to have a heck of a time with liquid glue and the tissue type paper that you are using to put on top. You're going to have an almost impossible time with liquid glue in getting the paper to lay down flat. So I definitely recommend double-sided adhesive. We have, and there, you can use, grab me both of those rolls, the white roll and the rolls that have the blue writing on them. We have this tape in a store. It's either labeled Couture Creations or let's see, it might be labeled. This one has Couture Creations on the inside. Does that one too? Do those also?
This one does.
We have several types of rolls. This is very inexpensive by comparison, but when you use this, what's going to happen is this is going to bubble up as you work. You can use this, but you have to constantly be patting it down. The very first class that I did with this, I used some of this adhesive and I pushed it down as we went. You can make it work, but it is a little bit more of a challenge. This is the good stuff. It's sold by Elizabeth Craft. The same tape is also sold by Score. It's spendier. I'll just tell you that it's more spendy, but it comes in different size rolls, so you don't have to buy the 6-inch roll for $54. You can buy thinner rolls and use more lines of it. This is heat resistant, but you pay for it. So that's a little thought about glue versus tape. And yes, I completely agree with what Thelma's saying. I could go this far. I could get my glitter and glaze down, and then I could use Mod Podge on top of this. And that could give me, if I was using high gloss Mod Podge, I could probably get a similar effect by putting Mod Podge on top once I get to this stage. But, or I could even actually use semi-gloss, which would give me a very pretty effect also. But you really got to have heat resistant stuff to get the same effects that we're getting. This time, I think I'm actually going to put a layer of this wow down before I use my UD. I have some, because it's such a big sheet, I actually have some areas that didn't adhere quite as much. It's not problematic. I just want a nice consistent finish before I put the UD on top of it. So I'm going to do a layer of plain Mod Podge next. and then I'll do the UD on top of that. So I'm going to grab my plane, and I do have my plain background. Heat resistant tape is always best for this project if you have it. If you don't, you can press the bubbles down and out of it, but it's kind of a pain. But it can be done. And I think that was a great question about the Mod Podge. Once you get to this point, you can Mod Podge it. You could use, now that I think about it, there is also a Mod Podge that has glitter in it. There's a glitter finish that they actually sell and recommend for going over diamond paintings. You could use non-heat, you could use the less expensive tape. You could go ahead and put your image down to the tape. You're going to have to be very, very careful with that first layer of Mod Podge. Kind of dab it instead of, don't scrub it over the top of the napkin. But I think you could use a glittered Mod Podge, let it dry good, and then use your gloss. And I think you could get a similar, process. That's interesting. I hadn't thought about that before, but why not? Why, there's more than one way. Oh, I'll bet that's beautiful, Mary R. It says there's a person at our front door. It must be Lauren, I hope. Oh, okay. I said this last time, but I really love the way that the clear layer brings out that glittered layer underneath. I've tried using multiple glitter layers just to see what would happen. And I'll tell you, it doesn't really change the appearance at all. It just kind of wastes your glitter because it doesn't really change the appearance at all. One glittered layer usually suffices really nicely for this project. Feel free to try it yourself. We all experiment with these things, but I can tell you that was my experience. It really didn't change it. Liking the finish I'm getting here. This is nice. Nice, nice, nice. I think I'm going to change my mind. I'm going to go ahead and use this big sheet as is and not put the UD on this one, because with the UD I'm just trying to illustrate, and this is a much bigger piece than I need to illustrate that technique. I'm going to do that next on a smaller piece. There's no sense doing that on this great big piece where it's just going to take up your time. Now, if I want more clear layers than this, I can absolutely add more layers to this. This is what I get now. You can see in here, see the little lines? That's where my adhesive tape lines were. If I was using UD, or if I wanted to put on extra layers, I can minimize those lines by getting a thicker finish. Okay, so if I wanted to put on extra layers, I could minimize those adhesive lines a little bit, or any little wrinkles and things. The more UD and wow you put on top, the more you make those little imperfections disappear. Okay. Yeah, I think that Score and Elizabeth Craft are actually the same brand of tape. They're sold as different brands, but I believe now that somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Feel free to, or those companies, if they're watching this video, can correct me if I'm wrong. But I do believe those are the same brands. I have a big piece of cardstock here. What do I have for big cards? Now that I've done all that, I don't have a huge card here. Guess maybe, ooh, this would be pretty. Okay, I'm just going to make 5x7 out of this because I do like the idea of this black behind there. That would be really pretty. I have a black card sitting here, so I'm going to cut this. Now it's the tough part, though. I have to decide what part of it I'm going to use. I think, wow, I think I'll use this part here. I can't get the layers to separate from my hydrangea napkin. Will you go back and see if you can get one of these out of the box for me? I want to work with Mary to get it in back on the shelf in the corner to your left. Get one of those hydrangea napkins. Let me try and separate the layers, and we'll see if we can help Mary. Okay. I'm going to, how wide is that there? That's just right at 5 inches. So I'm going to cut this right here. And I'm going to go to 4, I'm going to start at 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Oh, it's hard to know where to cut it off. It's all beautiful. I do have more activity. Yeah. 6 3/4. Okay. Quarters by 6 3/4. I sent Bryce back to see if he can find one of the hydrangea napkins, Mary, so I can separate one here and see if there's any tips I can give you. Look how beautiful that is with the black behind it, guys. That's pretty. That's very pretty. Okay, and this time we have this. This is some of that woven iridescent ribbon. So, and then in our pack, I believe we have, oh, I have this little mint colored tag, which will be perfect with special birthday wishes. Really pretty. And we were talking about using the extra pieces for a bookmark. Look at this bookmark we can make.
We have 2 boxes back there, and there's no hydrangea in them.
There must be more. Well, there's more somewhere. Because I know we didn't use them all. Huh. Look what I just found. We're going to make that for Betty McSorley. That's maple leaves. What did they do with the rest of them? Darn it. Well, we'll separate another one out here, at least the maple leaves, and maybe we'll figure out what we can do to help you. Okay. All right, let's make a bow for this. On this last one, I made a 3-4-3. I think maybe I'll make a 4-5-4. See if that would look good. Ah, he found it. Good. We'll separate this one together. Good idea, Sharma. To put the bookmark in as a gift with a card. That's a great idea. If you haven't taken our bow class, you'll want to do that. How many out there haven't had our bow class yet? Anybody? If you haven't had our bow class yet, or feel like you need a refresher, we need to get that on the agenda when I get back from Mom's. Yes. Never hurts to have a little extra practice with bow making. You haven't had it yet, Mary, okay? Mary Lynn? All right, we'll get one on the calendar when I get back from Mom's house. I'm sure everybody knows I'll be taking some time out over a couple of weeks to go up and help my mom post-surgery. To decide where we want that. I can put it up here, which actually looks really pretty. My iPad has been buffering. Just rewound and found that you were sending me that beautiful card. I am sending it to you, Catherine. I am. And I was thinking about putting this bow here, but I actually think it looks way better up here in this corner. So that's where I'm going to put it. And then I have this really fun minty colored tag that's in your kit. And I'm going to put that on there. All right. Let's get some tape on the back of here. Remember, use a little extra tape. Okay, Mary, get your glue bottle out, hon, because I'm going to help you get that napkin separated. Putting a little extra tape on here.
Purple tape instead of Scotch tape.
Oh, that might work. It can be a little tacky too, but I think glue's going to get her through this. She just doesn't know it yet. Okay, we got this beautiful. I'm not going to take the time to glue this right this minute. I think, where do I want to put that beautiful tag? Maybe, I think I'll put the tag probably right under the bow. Put that up on some foam squares. And look at our beautiful, beautiful card, guys. I want to go to the things that are going to do you guys the most good. Okay. Mary, get your napkin out handy. One thing you can do, I'll tell you this right now, one thing you can do to help make separating these easier is to control the size you're trying to work with at one time. Okay? Now we have this beautiful piece, and this is probably what you have in front of you. One thing you can do, Mary, that will help is if you're going to use the 4x8 cards I put in there, is to go ahead and cut this into 3 pieces. I believe I sent you a big one. I'm not certain. I'm never certain what I did yesterday. So if you have a big piece and you're having trouble getting it separated, one of the things I'd recommend is go ahead and cut it into usable pieces. Okay? Now, I know you have some Cosmic Shimmer glue. Take some Cosmic Shimmer glue, put it on your finger, just about that much. Tap it, tap it, tap it together with your thumb. Okay? You with me, Mary R? This one's for you. Now I've got this napkin you're having trouble with. My fingers are a little bit tacky. And one of my layers is ready to peel off. Okay? Let's do it again. Now, if my fingers have lost their tack, I'm going to put a little bit of my glue on here again. See there? It's coming apart. Just peel it back. Try that and let me know how it's working for you, Mary R. Now, once you get into this piece, especially when you're on that final layer, pull it slow and steady. Take it easy. Don't get in a hurry because we don't want to tear that fine tissue. Let's do this again just to make sure you got it, Mary R. Are you?
That was so easy. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Well, good. She got it, huh?
Oh, that was Mary Lynn.
Oh, Mary Lynn. Okay, maybe it was Mary Lynn, not Mary R. that said that. Was it? I thought it was Mary R.
No.
There we go. And this one actually took the 2 back layers off at one time. How do I know that? Because this is really heavy white. There's actually 2 layers right there. So both layers came off at the same time. There we go. All right. One final piece to do here. Put a little bit of glue on your finger. You can use this. You can use that Nouveau glue stick if you have one of those. What are you? I'm not sure what that means. Oh, there we go. Huh. Well, if it doesn't come loose on one corner, try a different corner. Now I'm getting a bad one here, or a tougher one. So that's good, actually. There's Jordan. Hi, Jordan. Okay. There it is. There you go. That's my best tip for separating the layers of your napkin. And once again, 2 layers came off together at the back. I don't care if they come off 1 or 2 at a time, as long as they come off. And then pull it very gently. Separate the layers. So there you go. That's how it works. Now, what time is it, Bryce? Okay, we're going to do one card that's not in your kit. Why? Because I just found maple leaves, and we're going to do one for Betty McSorley too. Because why not? We found a Canadian leaf. Let's do a maple leaf for Betty McSorley while we're at it. And I'm going to watch for something for Elsie. Do you have reindeer? Don't you have reindeer in? in Norway, Elsie? Give me some themes I can watch for. Okay, this is a big old napkin. I know I'm not going to use all this at one time. I have never tried this napkin before. So this one's yours, Betty McSorley. We're going to honor Canada with this pretty maple leaf. It's got a few oak leaves in there too. You'll forgive us for that. But we do have a pretty maple leaf. So I don't like to try and separate the entire thing at one time. Oh, look at that. This might be a 2-ply napkin. I like to use 3, but it's possible this is a 2. Let me see what it says. I do believe this was just a 2-ply. Because that looks a lot like tissue to me. I think that was just a 2-ply napkin, so that's an unusual choice for me, but okay. Let's grab one of my pieces of cardstock here. I have a couple. Oops, that's bigger than I need. Yeah, there we go. I'm going to make it European A6. Okay. All right. We're honoring our international customers today with our themed napkin cards. That was kind of a spur of the moment decision, but why not? Okay. I want a piece that's got really nice, I think this is a really nice central one. So is this one up here. I think I'm going to go with this as my focal one. So I'm going to grab a piece of my cardstock. Remember, I had the leftover cardstock, so all of mine is. Uh-oh. This is going to be roughly 4 by 6, so I'm going to go ahead and just make this smaller to start with, because you don't need all that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this in 2 pieces. For all you do, this one's for you, Betty McSorley. That's really nice there. Look at this corner. This wasn't the one I was going to use, but look at this corner. I've got 3 maple leaves all together there. Which one do I want? I also like this one.
Put your cardstock down and see how much you can capture.
True.
Your card.
I'm going to use that piece right there. That's beautiful. Okay. Lots of reindeers, but mostly in the north. We have deer here where we live. And in the east, they have moose. I want to see a moose. It's on my bucket list. I have to see a moose in the wild. Okay, so I've got my adhesive exposed. You can take your napkin to the adhesive or your adhesive to the napkin, whatever you find easier. I do it both ways. I don't know what's easier. Just do want to make sure I get the right part of my napkin, though. Okay. I heard that. They have moose. I have to see a moose in the wild. Someday I must. Now, this napkin is interesting also in that it has a little bit of a wavy texture to the napkin itself. So it'll be really interesting to see what this one does. This is not in your kits, guys. Don't look for the maple leaf. It's not going to be there. But since we are kind of trying to honor our international folks today, we're just going to make this anyway. Oh, that's going to be pretty. Okay, let's get our glittered. This will be my glittered sheet. Let's get my Versamark out here. I really must see a moose in the wild. Sometime before I die, it must be done. It must. Okay, I'm gonna grab my glittered wow. We did a class one time using napkins, and one of my friends who was in that class, who's Jewish, made some of the most beautiful gift tags from seasonal napkins for Hanukkah. Really, really beautiful. I was so impressed with what she came up with in blues and golds. Gorgeous. Okay, pour our extra powder back in our... See what I mean about the powder, guys? It's like I've used almost nothing in all these cards we've done. When you look at your packets in your cards, you might think, well, that's not going to get me very far. Yes, it is. You are going to get a lot of cards out of those packets in your class kits. And did I don't think I mentioned today that we have a great price on this kit. I don't know how many kits we have left. Can you look at that and link this kit for today? And tell me how many napkin kits we have left today, hon? This is going to be really interesting. I can't wait to see what this looks like with the extra texture in the napkin. I love to discover new things doing this. We have 11 kits left, guys. 11 of these kits left in stock. And this kit for today, you get the napkins. You get the working card with a with the heat-resistant adhesive already on it. You get your card blanks and 300 GSM nice heavy card. You get a packet of wow that's glittered. You get a packet of wow that's plain. You get ribbons. You get tags. You get envelopes. And today's kit from 6 cards. And today's kit is only $16.95 while they last. Bryce is linking it for you here. Thank you, honey. I can't believe that it's so little, but I didn't use as much mirror board and things in my designs this time. And I couldn't believe it when I saw what the price came to. That was a great price for 6 cards in this technique. And you're going to have plenty of wow to do these and more. So if you didn't grab this kit yet, look at that. Look at the maple leaves in honor of our Canadian friend over the border, Ms. Betty McSorley. Isn't that beautiful? Beautiful. Beautiful. I don't think all my Christmas napkins are in here. I think some of them are in storage in the shed. So it might take me a little while to find a reindeer or a moose. But I won't forget you, my friend. See you, Catherine. You know, this would be a good one. I'm going to go ahead and put a coat of wow on here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to use the Udi on this one, because I promised you we do one with Udi as well. For your embossing pad, you can use a regular embossing pad. I have 2 of them in the store. I have one from Hunky Dory, and I have this pad from Versamark. I happen to like the Versamark a little bit better than the Hunky Dory one because it's juicier. Okay, this is my plain well, and I'm on my glittered paper. I'm going to switch. Versamark also gives you a minute to put your powder on without drying out, so that when you make mistakes like that, you have a little time. Tap it off. Don't make the mistake of thinking if you have lots of extra powder on there, it's going to get shiny faster. No, all it's going to do is blow all over your room. Okay, grab my little paddle. My little paddle, if you're wondering where that came from, that came with my Totally Tiffany embossing gun holder, embossing station thing I have here. You're sweet, Roberta. Huh? I'm off camera. I get on camera. Robotics. Oh, look at that. Look at that glitter come back up. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that glitter come up. When you get this second coat on here, the glitter really, really shows. Look how beautiful that is. That glitter comes up. Wowzer. Wowzer, wowzer. I love that. Wow, that's pretty. Look at that shine and glitter come up. Okay, let's see what we have here. Look how beautiful that is. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use UD because I promised you I was going to use some. This is not in your kit. This is another useful material for this technique. This will give you the more glass-like finish. It's not in your kit. We do usually carry it. I don't know how much we have in stock, but we'll have it again soon. If you don't see it, don't panic. I'll be showing it on What's New Wednesday within a week or two. It'll be back. And UD can be a really, really fun material to add to your creations, which is why I'm taking time to show it to you today. UD is going to give you the real glassy finish. Now, one of the things you'll see about UD, and maybe we can come in real close here, honey, is that UD is not a powder, it's little granules. Can you see that? They're actually little grains, more like sand and less like powder. UD is a sand-like texture. So it's much, much coarser. The fact that it is much, much coarser is why it tends to give you a glassy finish faster. Pour this back in my bottle. Let's get our paddle back out here wherever I have placed it. Again, there it is. No disrespect to the Canadian flag there, as I wanted that napkin. Okay. Watch this one turn, guys. This is interesting. Watch this one turn. Oops. Here we go. As this one heats, you'll actually see like a pool sort of finish coming up on your card. As it melts, it's almost pools on top, on the surface. Oh, good. Okay. We will have much more Udi in stock soon, too. See, there's one that just kind of got away. And there's not a thing I can do about that because they. Now, if you ever find any little clumps in your UD or in your embossing powder, don't worry about those. They melt out. So don't think you have a defective product. It just they melt out. Now we do need to let this cool for just a moment before handling it because it literally has a kind of a pool of that UD sitting on top of it. I love the deer in the yard. One night, our Ring doorbell camera went off, and I thought somebody was outside. Bryce was going to turn on the outside lights to scare off whoever it was, and then we realized that there was a deer standing right at the beginning of our walkway to the house. See that glassy finish? See how fast we got that glassy finish? Now, I'm going to stop right here. If I wanted to get it even more glassy, I could put another coat on. But as we've discussed, one of the risks to going for that extra glossy finish is that UD, because it's so thick, can actually crack. Now, if it cracks, it's not ruining our project. All we're going to do if it cracks is go back and reheat it back into a pool and the crack disappears. But that is.
It's really kind of bare in there.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So did it leave on its own, or did you have to have like the game department remove it? Did it get stuck? When I was growing up, our parents had a swimming pool. In the middle of the night, a German Shepherd fell in and couldn't get out. I jumped in after it and got it out, but my whole body was scratched up. I can only imagine trying that with a bear. That's the first thing that comes into my mind is, but how would you get it out? Okay, let's see. I think perhaps a little gold mirror board might be in order here. Let's see what we think on some gold mirror. I'm not sure the mirror board adds an awful lot. Maybe I have a different color here that
Red
would add something nice. Green. I have some green mirror board here. The gold wasn't adding anything. Oh, this is going to be nice. Oh, baby. This is what I sound like when I'm in here creating samples all by myself in the middle of the night. Woo, baby, look at that shine. Oh, you guys, people would think if it weren't for the fact that Bryce has been with me for 27 years this year, right? 27 years. He'd have me hauled away for sure. Oh boy. All right, gonna go ahead and cover my card. I'm gonna put some Green Mary down here. Then I'm gonna trim my image just a bit. Did the bear all? Thelma, you cracked me up. I would say he probably was skinny dipping. Yep. Good night, Miss Stephanie. Thanks for stopping in to see us. Okay. Oh, I guess I didn't need all these rows of tape for my mirror board, but oh, sometimes I'm crazy. That mirror board's not going anywhere, though, I'll tell you that. It's these aren't my fingers the way I have them stuck in it. Alrighty. In case you're wondering why I seem to be cutting my card out of an odd place on my cardstock, it reminds you that this is a European A6 card, and this mirror board is A4. It's the same size as a piece of adorable scoreable cardstock from UK, and I can get 4 faces from this card if I do it this direction. So just in case you were wondering why I was doing that, that's why I was doing it. Yeah, this green's gonna look good with our maple leaves. Okay. All right, now, see here, as it cooled, I'm going to bend it ever so slightly, doing it gently. It still might crack if it does. I'm not going to panic. I'm not going to panic. Okay, it's pretty flat now. I am going to put plenty of adhesive under it. Plenty. Okay, my card blank is 5 7/8, so I'm going to cut this. Check my edges and see if there's any rough edges or anything I need to cut off. And cut this to 5 5/8. I do have some roughness on this edge, so that's the edge I'll trim. And I'm going to start with this at 3 7/8 since my card is 4 1/8. And that is just a perfect border right there. That green on there, isn't that pretty? I'm going to put plenty of adhesive on here. Oh, I just heard a crack. I don't see it. I heard a little crack. Yeah, I see it. Okay, come in real close. Because we have tiny little crack, but a crack nonetheless. Let's see if I can even show it to you. I'm not sure you'll even see it, and you wouldn't even know it was there unless I told you. But I did hear it crack, so I knew there was a little crack in there. It's ever so tiny. I think I'm going to go ahead and put my card face down to my project before I reheat that. Okay, so I got it all leveled out again. You know, it's so subtle, I don't know that I'll do anything with it, but just for the sake of illustration, I'll show you how we would reheat it. But I hardly see it either. I mean, it's so subtle, I'm not sure that it's even worth dealing with, but just for the sake of knowing what to do, we will reheat it. I'm going to go ahead and put this right down to my card. And then I'll give it a final go over with my embossing tool. This does appear, I don't know if it's directional or not, but I'm going to treat this like the top. That's pretty good. But I do have, see, adhesive showing. We cannot have that right there. Darn it. Now this makes me mad at myself when I do this. How many times have you heard me say, check to make sure that there's no adhesive showing on the end before you put stuff down? And there I had just a tiny, tiny bit of adhesive showing. Polish that back up. That's my brand new shirt. Okay, pushing that down nice and firmly. Not going to mess with that area on the corner at all anymore. I'll mess it up. Powder on the back of my card. Okay. Wow. Okay. Betty, when you get this, you'll notice that there's a little ripple right here. This is actually it's the napkin itself had a crinkly finish, and it actually has some kind of textural elements through it. So when you feel that, that's not really an error in processing. That is just kind of one of those textural elements from the card. I'm going to take this and I'm going to reheat this just a little bit. Do be careful if you have mirror board down behind here, because mirror board is a film that's put over cardstock, and it would be fairly easy in doing this. I'm just getting rid of my little crack. It would be very easy, since I have mirror board behind here, to melt the finish of my mirror board. So be very careful about that. I have cooled up my material where that little crack was. That little crack is no more. It is gone entirely. Here is Betty's beautiful tribute to the Canadian flag with our maple leaves. There is no crack anymore. And we have a gorgeous, gorgeous maple leaf. What kind of questions do you guys have for me? Do you have questions about any part of this process for me? I'm just gonna stick this down here so we can see this on. I prefer my best glue ever, but I'm going to stick this on so we can see it finished. Maybe I am, at least. Lost my pin. Any questions at all? Do you have any questions of them?
Not this class, but when will Margie's teacup class be in the store?
Margie's teacup class will be in the store probably this afternoon. I need to. She was sending me some information in her supply list, and it hadn't come in when I finished listing last night. So hopefully it will be here today. And as soon as I get that from Margie, I'll get that put up. When's the next napkin class? You don't need another napkin class. You guys are all ready to roll with this one. I think you are. Okay. So let's take a look at what we've made. Now, our maple leaf was a tribute to our Canadian friend, Betty. So this napkin is not in your class, but we made this beautiful thing.
Your jars of powder.
What's that?
Your jars of powder are in the way.
Oh. Okay. So we made this beautiful one for Betty. We made this one. This is the size that's actually allocated to that card. I just had a bigger piece of cardstock here, so we made it a little differently. But aren't those pretty? Those are beautiful. Here's our card for our friend Catherine. We made this beautiful. Now, one of these is done in WOW, and one of them is done in UD. Can you see the difference?
One on the right, Judy.
Yeah. And here is our prior hummingbird. And here's today's hummingbird. Aren't they just gorgeous? Oh my gosh. Okay. Here is our hydrangea, one of my favorites from this class. Look at the way that glitter plays on that blue and purple, guys, and that butterfly. Isn't that just too gorgeous? Here's watercolor roses. I'm glad you guys enjoyed this class. Please be sure you do the thumbs up for me. And here's our vase of... Okay, I have lots to show you. Are there any questions at all on this technique before I show you some brand new things? Any questions at all before we move on? Excellent. Okay. Let's see what's coming up at next Thursday. You asked for it, you got it. We're doing an Easter bunny. I'm not doing two kits because I did some extra fun little things with this kit. Here is Easter bunny number 1, using that chicks, and I made a little window in the top for a shaker. So we have a shaker card. We have a bunny with lavender velvet and little yellow pearls out of the shaker mix. That's where the pearls came from. And we made this dimensional. This is called an interdimensional card. And it says, Happy Easter. Hope you have an extra special day. This is next Thursday. Aren't they cute? And very unusual for me, I must say. You have not seen a button card like that from me before. Whoops. And you work it. This is a different kind of shaker than we've made before. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we have 3 fun cards for next Thursday. This is the Easter Bunny kit. Easter Bunny is next Thursday. See this one? Even though this is dimensional, it kind of self-folds to protect all your extra elements. They've made this way. Isn't that fun? Okay, so that's next Thursday. That's Easter Bunny. He's brand new. You're going to love this one. This is next Saturday. You're going to love this one. I showed you the bird kit. You guys said, oh, we want the birds. We're doing the birds. Here's the birds. Hummingbird. This is next Saturday. Bird class. This bird kit is from Kanban. There are so many craft supplies in this kit, so many supplies in the kit, and such huge potential that I have decided to do the bird class as another one of those use your own stash kits. It got a pretty good reception when we did the Chloe class, use your own stash. That's what we're going to do with this one again. I made 7 cards the other night from this kit, and I barely touched the class supplies. This is a very, very rich kit. These beautiful foiled papers that you see in this one and this one, they're included. You get a dozen of those. You get 30, I believe it was 39 toppers. You get, I don't even remember how many tags and sentiments. You get printed cardstock. You get printed inserts. This one happens to be made out of an insert. I will not be at my mom's on Thursday because my mom's surgery was moved back a week. It's now going to be on the 15th. So instead of being in on the 8th, she goes in on the 15th. So you have me for an extra week before you have. So this kit, see the little bird? It's almost camouflaged there, but I love that. In this kit, you get so much stuff that I'm not including all the cards and mirror board. I did use a lot of corner stickers on this one. I thought you'd love that in it. I put corner stickers on most of mine. That was kind of my theme for this class. I put lots of corner stickers in. See that? I used a lot of corners. I used corners on my mirror board. See how that gives you an etched sort of look to that? So you guys are getting the materials. Let me just tell you what I added to this. I didn't add a tremendous amount. I did add a piece of blue velvet because I had one sitting here, and I did add a bow. I added my stickers and my corners. But this primary piece, they're in your kit. I'm just giving you a whole bunch of ideas for how you can use it. This is just, the cardstock itself is beautiful. I got 2 cards from this one piece of cardstock. So this is a use your own stash kit. You'll use your own stickers, your corners, your mirror board if you want it. You know, you could just as easily use a colored piece of cardstock for your layering elements here. You can stamp on this and stamp your own happy birthdays on them. This is a stash user kit. This is one where I want you to go to your craft cupboard. I want you to dig up what you have to use, and I want you to use what you have and use my card ideas for inspiration only. This kit is in the store. It's $15.95. You get 4 sheets of toppers. You get 6 sheets of printed cardstock. You get 6 sheets of printed insert material, which are beautiful for cards. You get tags. You get sentiments. You get 12 pieces of that gorgeous foiled cardstock. This is a use your own stash kit. I just want to say that again. You will not get all the mirror board and corners and things, because I want you to go to your stash and use up what you have. I'm not sending you ribbon because you all have ribbon. The kit is $15.95. I made these 7 cards, Kathy Girly Girl, and I didn't even put a dent in the material. So I made 7 cards here. We're going to make more next Saturday. We'll make another 4 or 5. So you'll have at least a dozen inspiration cards. And you'll get way more cards than that from this kit. So this is a use your stash kit. The birds are stunningly beautiful. You want to see the actual pieces you get in your kit? Let me move my inspiration cards out of the way. And let me show you what your kit actually contains. Because I have a full, this is my kit. And look how much I have left. I have tons of stuff left. Let me show you what you're actually getting in your kit. Your kit contents will be you're getting 12 of these absolutely gorgeous foiled card bases. These are European A6. So, $15.99. Okay. Yeah. So, will you link this kit, please? See all these beautiful colors? These are the actual card bases you're getting. If you're using these with regular quarter fold cards, a US A2 card and envelope, you will need to trim those a bit for these. That's okay, isn't it? You can make these fit. It's just a slight trim to make these fit as US standard card, or we have, as you know, we have a value pack in our, it's $15.99 for 50 of our 300 GSM cards. So you get 12 of these absolutely gorgeous foiled backgrounds. I can't even fan out far enough to show them all to you. You get 12 of those. You get tags. You get tags. These are really fun to add stickers to, by the way, or stamp on them. You get a tag. You get 2 tags. You get 1 tag. You get 2 tags. These are all sentiments, or these are add your own stickers on top or stamp on them. Sentiments. These are all die cut, by the way. You get 4 more tags, 5 more tags, 5 more tags there, 2 more tags there. I love the way they've done some of these tags with the lettering going down. I think those are really fun. You get 5 more tags here, 2 more tags here. Here are these are die cut. There's no foiling on these. These are all die cut. And look at all these images. You get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on that sheet. You get all these beautiful birds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 there. You get, these are big tags, or big ones here. 2, 4, 6, 8 on this sheet. Little smaller ones on this one. You get all these die cuts. This is insert paper. I loved using the insert paper for my card base and then being able to layer my sentiments on an extra little square of this. Here's another. These are just like the perfect spring kit, isn't it? There's a white insert, but with beautiful little corner treatment we can use. Another beautiful bird. I love these little birds. All the birds are really friendly looking too. A little kingfisher and the reeds there. Then we've got some other background papers here, some patterned backgrounds. $15.99, guys. I'm going to show you designs for at least a dozen cards. Look at this. We're going to get 2 cards off of that one. Look at this beautiful background piece. And here's, I already made this one. I got 2 cards off of that. This is $15.99. There's your link. This is next Saturday. We are going to have a blast with this. This is another one where these cards were so satisfying to make. I had to make myself stop at 7. I finally had to say, this is kind of ridiculous. I don't need 7 cards just to show the potential of the kit. But I just was having so much fun making them, I didn't want to stop. This is exactly what your kit looks like. I pulled this out of the bucket of kits. That is exactly what your kit looks like. It's $15.99. And like I said, you are just going to have so many beautiful cards. So we have that set ready to go. And then I have another set to show you. I've been busy. I have another set to show you that's coming up. And I'm not sure what the date of this one will be yet. There's no hurry for it. I just finished it up while I was working here the other night. This is called Gardening Gifts, and I think the other set is something about hearts. It's like gardening gifts and hearts. This is your kit. This again is an all-inclusive kit. Here's our gardening gifts. What about gardening boots without a little rain? So I added rain to this one. You get the Aurora Borealis gemstones in your kit. Here's the stickles for my stickles lovers. Doesn't show very much from that angle. Maybe I can, oh, there we go. Bryce is getting in there where you can see the stickles. Yes, we have serious stickles on this one. This is called Gardening Gifts. Or Gardening Gifts, I think. Everything's in this kit again. This is our normal kit. You get it all. I only made 2 hearts because they looked a little too sparse when I tried to make 3. So I only made 2 hearts out of the hearts kit. You get 5 in total. We'll do these on a Thursday night. Got that one. And I got that one. This will be an all-inclusive kit. The kit is out there, and we'll schedule this somewhere down the road when I get back from Mom's probably. It'll probably be like the first week I'm back. Because I know I'm going to be tired. So I wanted to have my kit done for when I got back. That's what I have for you today. There you go. That's what I had for you today. We made beautiful art together, didn't we? Okay, so if you haven't already mashed that like button, hit that like button. Tell me you liked it. And feel free anytime you like to give me comments down below the video. Tell me what you like. Tell me what you'd like to see more of. Anytime you want to commune with me, you are welcome to do that through the comments section. Of course, you're also welcome to email me or call me. But hit that like button. Tell me you like it. Tell YouTube, you like it, so they'll refer other people to our channel. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. You don't want to miss any of the fun. We have good stuff in store for you 3 times a week. Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thursdays at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And Saturdays at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. You guys stay safe. We'll see you on Wednesday for What's New Wednesday. Brittany has a big, full bucket of hunky-dory for us. Be sure you hit Brit's Bargains because I think we had a few corner bent things. Brand new products she dropped into Brit's Bargains. Yes, we did. And also grab you some of those card boxes, the beautiful foiled card boxes for Deco Large. That is a great deal. We'll see you later. I will get your cards in the mail to you, Betty and Catherine. I owe you one, Elsie. And we'll see you later. Good night, Gracie.